Welcome back to H-Lot Gaming. In this week's video, we got the Desecrated Daimyo, which is going to be a dungeon boss. I thought we could start off with sort of the visuals of the skills that they gave us. Then we'll get into the kit and then some possible good champs you can use for this boss. This video right here that we're starting off with is the ultimate. And we'll get into the kit after this, obviously, but let's take a look at the other skills. Okay, this right here is the basic. Right now we're just seeing it, in sort of the, I don't know what you want to call this, the test area, and then we'll take a look at it actually against some opponents sort of in game. All right, here is the core. Pretty cool looking again, right? That sort of jump up and slam down. And again, we'll just make these quick so we can see them in game. They look a little bit cooler. Another look at the ultimate without the stuff in game, so you can kind of see it a bit easier from in terms of just the character itself. Okay, here's the basic in game. I wish they would have kind of locked the camera or went to a different view perhaps when they were showing this to us, so you could kind of see it hitting a little bit better, but still looks cool, right? Oh yeah, and you see his two little, I don't know, minions there, whatever you want to call them. Remember those, because when we're looking over the kit, those will be important too. Okay, here we see the basic again in game, so you can kind of see how it looks. Again, because of the camera, it's a little bit hard to see kind of what it looks like when it hits. You can actually see it best on hell right there. See, that's easier to see there. Very cool looking, right? You can kind of see the slam up. And we have another version we could see as well. I actually think you can see it better in this one. Yeah, that looks very cool, right? That's a good angle right there. Okay, that's what he looks like. Let's take a look at his kit. The basic is Conqueror's Blade. Attacks all enemies 200% defense plus 100% attack with a 100% chance to place initiative 3 for 1 turn. So that's a 30% reduction in the initiative stat. The core ability, Daimyo's Decree. Man, these are some good names. Attacks all enemies 200% defense plus 100% attack. Okay, the same. I don't know, would you call those multipliers, I guess, as the core. Place speed down 3, so 30% for 2 turns on all enemies. Okay. Man, that's pretty strong. Oof. Passive. Desecration of the Wise. Increase divinity by 50 when attacked under barrier. Okay. Heals the Desecrated Daimyo by, I almost said 50. That would have been bad. But 25 is also kind of bad, right? 25% max HP when attacking under barrier. The Shield of the Shadow is immune to all disables. Okay. Another passive. Has a 50% chance to activate Conqueror's Blade. Which one is that? The basic, okay. When attacked under barrier. This chance is reduced by 50% if the Shield of Shadow is not under a speed up 3 or initiative up 3. Will always activate Conqueror's Blade when the Desecrated Daimyo's turn meter is reduced. Okay, so this is his little minions, and this part right here is important. These allies will be coded as much faster than usual with the intent that they keep putting their buffs on the boss unless you kill them or use corruption, which I was going to actually mention. That's probably a good thing to have on your team, but we'll get to that. But anyways, these are his little helpers. As you can see, the basic Desecrated Sweep attacks one enemy, 200% attack. We're not really worried too much probably about the damage of these guys, but it's more this. To place the speed up 3 for 1 turn on the Desecrated Daimyo, and that's the basic, right? So there's no cooldown. But the passives are really important as well. Fallen Guardian. When the Desecrated Acolyte is defeated, it will increase the divinity cost of the Desecrated Daimyo by 500. Okay, then the Desecrated Guard. Oh, I didn't even notice this. Man, I'm so bad at reading the Forsaken Tengu and the Forsaken Shinigami. And Shinigami himself, we'll get to that, I think is going to be a pretty good rare. So basic aerial strike, attack one enemy, 300% attack, place initiative up 3 for 1 turn on the Desecrated Daimyo. Again, the basic, so no cooldown. When the Desecrated Guard is defeated, reduce the divinity of the Desecrated Daimyo to 0. So that's kind of all the skills. Okay, so at first glance, this seems, somewhat daunting, I guess you could say. If you watched Tuesday's video or last week's video, by the time this comes out, I believe it's called Halloween Comes to Godforge. He quickly kind of shows off a dungeon boss, but the screen before that, he scrolls through and you see that this is going to be one of the dungeon bosses. So there's going to be levels to this. So I wouldn't fret, You're going to at least be able to do the first handful or few, even if you just throw your strongest team in there probably to get whatever rewards are from this dungeon. We'll have to wait and see, and we'll kind of have to wait and see how it scales. All right, now let's get to some champs that I think might be useful. Okay, here we are on Raven's Pyros. And as always, the trusted Skady seems like she'll be at least somewhat useful. Obviously, you need the Awakening for the initiative down. And I'm going to kind of focus on just rares in this video, for kind of initial thoughts on the boss. We're kind of have to wait to see once the game is live what the drop rates for epics and legendaries are. Like most of these games, it's going to be easier to get rares. The basic shards will also probably be easier to get, assuming you're not spending. I'm talking here, if you're free to play, if you're spending, obviously you're going to have increased odds for better champs. So this is just initial stuff, and then we'll come up, with a better plan later when we kind of see how many epics and legendaries we get a few months into the game, or even maybe right off the bat. Who kind of knows what launch events they might put into the game that might bless people with some great champs. But anyways, my thoughts, were at the beginning, it's going to be easier to get multiple copies of rares than specific legendaries and, multiple copies of epics that could make them more powerful. So I'm thinking here, if you got a few copies of Skady, assuming that's not hard to get, you're going to get the initiative down on the basic. I know it's only 10%, but that'll definitely help. On the ultimate, you're going to have speed down right off the bat, so that definitely helps. So again, Skady, great as always. Of note, in the video, they did show Hell in the battle. She will probably be pretty good for this fight, assuming, because we didn't see anything in the Daimyo's kit about rezzing his minions. So if you had a way to res them and then kill them over and over again, increasing that cost by 500 and then reducing it to 0, that could be a very powerful way to do that. I don't know how viable that's going to be when the game first comes out, unless you get really lucky and pull a Hell, because she's the only person I could think of right now that has a skill that can res the enemy. And, what do we see? Roughly 75 champs out of the 200 from launch. So I'm sure there'll be other champs that have something similar to Hell. But if not, she might be the golden ticket for this fight, to really get through it. Although, man, I don't know how auto using that skill would going to be, so you'd probably have to manual it, but she would probably be the key. But assuming you don't have her, let's focus on some good rares. All right, here we got Shinigami. Really his core and his ultimate are what we want to focus on here for this fight. The defense down 20%. Hex. Allies also take 5%. That just will help you out a little bit. All right, and the ultimate, Custodial Reaper. You have Curse 1, so only the first one, but that's fine. Still something, 25% reduced healing, shield, barrier. So we want that for the barrier. And then Drain, you do more damage and you heal from it. The only potential sort of, sticking point here is this Banish. If you were trying to use this strategy where you were rezzing his minions and killing them over and over again, this could screw that up. but that's a later problem once you have a champ that can do that. Related to that, I think once the game goes live, I am going to choose Guang Yu as my starter based on stuff from the alpha. And part of that is with Shinigami. I didn't come up with this. Plenty of people have put this out there. It's a great team up. It says if target is under drain, then inflict an additional damage equal to 5% of the target's max HP. So if you have Shinigami with Guang Yu, you're essentially guaranteed a max HP damage champion, which is going to be great against pretty much any dungeon boss, unless they add a mechanic that negates that enemy max HP, which is certainly possible. But we'll have to wait and see how that goes. All right, here we got Kate Sith, who can put Vulnerable 1. Depending on your strategy, that could be useful. More if you get the Awakening 1, and then, you're under Vanish. I'm more interested in this sort of resistance down. That could be very good against this boss to land your other debuffs. Okay, and then here for the ultimate on Mischievous Omen, I forget what the rare uses what? Pages? What's it? Pages, scrolls, tomes? Either way, book this up. You have what is that? 50, 60, 70, 80% chance land speed down or blunt for 2 turns. So blunt, decreases the damage from strong hits and criticals. So that could be very good. So another possible rare there. Here we got Dagnate, and the next 2 heroes kind of have something I was playing with on the alpha that I didn't really have too much luck with. I don't know if it was an accuracy thing or what. I did test it on just regular boss stages, sort of like 130, 110, not the big ones like the 90 and the 120. And that's the lock skill. So here with Dagnate, you have lock. And here it's random what it'll be. But a second skill with the defense down, that can also be very useful in this fight. Potentially if you have him awaken the resistance down as well. And then as the ultimate, we can see if this enemy is under defense down, each hit has a 50% chance to remove a random buff from the target. So if he has that sort of a speed up or initiative up, this could be very helpful in getting rid of that as well. Then the last rare I'll talk about, Werewolf Boy, Volkadalk, I think that's how you say that. I was trying to mess with this in the alpha. I wasn't really having luck on sort of the big boss stages, so I don't know if there's something in the boss's kits that prevent this, or if it's an accuracy thing, because like I said, I did try it on other stages, like a 110 or something, and it was working. Obviously his first skill has bleed. I don't know if you'd necessarily use that on this fight. Doesn't seem like a good idea. That's more of a long-term fight strategy thing. But what could be interesting if it works is this lock core, and then you'd have to get him awaken 3 in the lock ultimate. And again, big caveat here, I did not get this to work on Fafnir in the alpha, so I don't know if it would work on the Desecrated Daimyo. That's something we'll have to test. But if it does, you book it up. What is this? So you have 20, so not great, up to 30, but better than nothing. Could possibly be useful if you were somehow getting a bunch of copies of him. Okay, just some other effects if you get a champ that does it. Could be helpful. Corrupt. The unit that placed this debuff steals any buffs received. Duration reduced when triggered. So obviously stealing buffs, that could be very good. We talked about lock, core, and lock ultimate. If you had a champ that could do the lock, the passive, that essentially stops that sort of a counterattack effect we have going on when he's under either, is it either or both, the speed up and the initiative up. He'll essentially use his basic. If you had somebody with Terrify, increase the divinity cost by 50%, also very helpful. Okay, this is sort of the encounter summary. I'm not going to read it. Pause the screen here if you want to just read the little blurb they told us about. But obviously this is the important part. The key to success is high damage to outpace the Daimyo. Okay, I realized we didn't look at the concept art. Okay, if you made it this far in the video, you'll see it's based on this character right here. And if you go back to the visual stuff we saw in game and what we'll see here, let me know if you guys think you would pay money to have like a skin like this, or do you think maybe it should be something you can sort of purchase as a like currency reward from, I don't know, like say you get arena currency or you do events and get some other type of currency? Is this something you'd want to put on your character as a skin? Obviously, still have the original character's abilities, so you wouldn't modify the skills that way, but it would look visually different. Let me know down below how you'd be willing to acquire that, just straight money or other means. Okay, so there's sort of the render without this. Oh, I didn't see that down there. Is that on the... Oh, it is. Oh, cool. I did not notice that before. Interesting. Okay, digging that. That's just some more. Oh, here we go, the weapon. This is actually as cool as he looks, right? This sort of burning gloves and all that. I would expect if you do a skin, you just get all in one, but even if it was somehow like a skin just for the weapon and he still looked like this, that'd be pretty cool. But I don't want to give them any ideas to separate the two skins, okay? They're just a render again. More render stuff. There we go, in-game, yeah. So yeah, if you could somehow acquire a skin to make yours look like that. I guess so you have to get the champ as well, right? And the reason I'm saying, get a skin as a reward, as far as we know, I believe one of the rewards they said, I'm thinking back, probably a couple months now. Is that how long it's been since the alpha? It feels like an eternity because it was so much fun. You'll get some type of skin for a champion that everyone can require. So skins have pretty much been confirmed as one of the things in game. So again, if you could get this, very cool looking, right? And you got the little like Tonto knife right there. Is that his actual weapon? It's hard to tell. I mean, the handle looks different, so I don't think so, right? Yeah, that's a different weapon. Okay, but that's cool looking. Yeah, and then his like little back half cape sash. I don't know what you call it. That's cool looking though, right? The sort of dragon. Oh, there's one down there too. I missed that before. Oh yeah, and then zooming in on the face. Oh, interesting. So this is sort of his face, his normal face, like the characters almost, right? Let me go back. I guess not. Okay. I was gonna say, is that almost like him holding his normal self in there, type of thing, like taking him over? Either way, very cool looking, right? Yeah, there's the weapon. Oh, that's a skull. Oh, very cool, right? Yeah, yeah. I think, man, I don't know. I might just pay straight cash for this if it was an option, right? Very cool looking. There, we have almost a sort of final render before in game. Looks like they got pretty much all the VFX on them, right? I wish I could rotate this, right? Look at the shoulder pieces, but they appear to be skulls very similar to the thing that was at the bottom of his little like tabard, right? Like very similar to that. Yeah, that's got to be pretty much a final product. Oh, here we go. Man, this is giving me almost like samurai Skeletor vibes, right? With all these skulls, man. This is a very cool design. Yeah, they have to let us somehow get this to make our characters look like it. It's just too cool. Oh, then the weapon. Okay. I want to see if it really spins around so you can get a good look at the skull on the front. Yeah, it's so tiny there. It's hard to see, but yeah. That's very cool looking too. Okay, that was it. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Uh, if you wouldn't mind throwing a like on the video, subscribing if you're not subscribed. Again, let me know down below. Would you like to acquire this skin? And if I forgot any champs, and again, I'm just focusing on the rares that you think have a good skill that'll sort of help you defeat this boss. Oh, and I didn't really focus on damage dealers that much because it's just whoever you get, bump them up as much as you can to try and defeat him. Like I said, when this starts, I think I'm going to go with Guang Yu for that max HP, especially if I can get a Shinigami because you can really control that and almost guarantee you got max HP hits all the time, which is going to be great against bosses. And obviously, if you saw that video, again, I think it's called Halloween Comes to Godforge, where he shows all the different dungeons. There's like, I don't know, 5 or 6 right in there off the bat is how we're going to be getting stuff. So I think going the max HP route is a great way to sort of get those resources early and build up your team that way. This has been H-Lock. Thanks for watching. Bye.